Hi, I'm Chris
And I'm Heather.
with Yellow Outdoors.
So you bought your van, your Class B van, and now what?
So what do you need to know before you head out? What are that checklist you have to have, you must know before you head out on the road?
That's some of the things we're going to bring up today. 5 main things that we think are important before you head out on the road. Stay tuned.
All right, so before you head out, you need to know your command center. This is the Precision Plex, also has a mobile app that we use. This is the command center to kind of control everything in your coach. So first of all, your lights, how do you have your fluids, which your black and gray, what's your battery condition. Also has the ability to check the temperature, what the temperature in the coach is, turn your water heater on and off. Also sets your generator. I always set my generator, if I'm boondocking, if it goes below a certain amperage, my generator kicks on and the batteries never go down. There's multiple YouTube videos on this as well. Other RVs have done this, so we're gonna try to do the same thing and try to help. But you can see the command center. You have your solar panel charger. Again, we've been boondocking. We like to boondock, at least once or twice a week. So you have to understand how your solar panels work with your AGM batteries, or if you want to upgrade to lithium batteries. It's also an option we'll talk through. You have to know what your inverter is and how you run your TV when you're not connected to anything.
It took me a while to figure out what an inverter was.
You also have to have how to control all your lights in the coach with dimming and non-dimming. And then the biggest thing is this Truma water heater. It's awesome. It's a water heater and a furnace.
We watched a lot of videos on that.
A lot of good YouTube videos out there. We're going to probably do it ourselves as well, kind of help. It took us probably a full weekend to figure it out. But once we got used to it, it was very easy to use. We use our furnace a lot because we're traveling a lot, in some of the colder weather. For us, at least from Florida, it's cold everywhere we go. Number 2 thing before I head out is to make sure my engine and engine, tires, everything is ready to go perfectly. I want to make sure I have no issues on the road, so I plan a lot ahead. Next thing is DEF fluid, diesel engine fluid. So the Mercedes Sprinter, it's hard to find this hood release, but you can see right here on the left side. Once I open the hood, this is very finicky on the Mercedes. Make sure you know this on these Sprinter vans, the way the hood prop works. There's a little catch right here. If you don't do it the right way, you'll bend the hood. I saw multiple YouTube videos on this, so it's very important you follow it all the way up and then let it sit in that little notch. Diesel engine fluid. Again, I'm also, just like I am with gas and oil changes, the DEF fluid, I generally, every 500 to 1,000 miles when I fill up, I go to like a Love's or a Pilot or a Flying J. I get a full 2.5 gallons of DEF fluid. I carry it with me all the time, and it's very easy to fill up, but I do it probably, more frequently than most people. I want to keep it above half all the time in the Mercedes. I just did an air filter, a fuel filter, an oil change. I just put brand new tires. The tires only had 30,000 miles on them. So I chose the Michelin Agilus. These are probably the most expensive tires you get on the Class B, but I want something that I know is reliable, has the best tire rating, and I do rotate and balance my tires every 6,000 to 8,000 miles. I do change oil about every 10,000 miles and do the full service just to be safe. Where we're gonna be going in all the deserts, very important. So another thing I always do before we head out is I check the weather. For me, being from Florida with hurricanes, tornadoes, every kind of weather event, I'm very obsessed about making sure the weather is perfect. My goal is to stay everywhere it's sunny and 75. That's not obviously optimal all the time.
And we learned this through trial and error because when we first started RVing, we had to outrun a really bad storm, and we never wanted that to happen again.
Yeah, so the weather is super important. Before you go, look at what it is. Make sure you have anything if it's going to get below freezing, what you need to have in the tanks if you're going to do that. I'll talk about that in other future videos, but the weather is extremely important. You don't want to get stuck in tornadoes. You want to get stuck in bad storms, snowstorms. It's just not smart. So I do my best every day before I go any destination to check the weather. So we also are very proactive on our water, fresh water in tanks. So right here, we actually chose this side to fill up instead of the tanks. We use this freshwater inlet inside the van.
It's so easy. You just hook a hose right up to it. And
we'll do a future video on this. But again, we want to make sure before we leave on any trip, we always make sure the water is full. You never know what's going to happen to get stuck somewhere. You don't want to have less, so always fill up. Everything I fill up is half, hits half, I start filling up everything just to be proactive. It's so much easier for you and you have less problems in the long run.
So for me, I'd say number 5 is packing. Obviously you can't pack a ton, but you want to pack the right things. Again, going back to Chris's weather, you want to make sure you have all the right essentials. First aid kit is very important, and we keep that above the drivers so it's easily accessible. First aid, and then packing the right clothes for whatever the type of weather it's going to be, and your food. Food's been easy because we stop and get that in between. We don't eat out. We usually make everything and prepare it ahead of time.
If you get stuck somewhere, we have enough food to last for a day or two.
We definitely have enough dry goods to stay somewhere. So just packing your essentials of everything that you might possibly need for even a week later for emergencies.
Every RV is different. Every RV has certain switches and everything you don't know. So you have to, before you head out, find a place to park in your driveway or go to a campground, spend the weekend there to learn everything. Don't try to take a long trip because you could have problems.